We're back live on Chicano Tube every single Wednesday night. Special day it is. Go ahead and hit the like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell. When you hit the bell, do your boy the favor and hit the bell. Go ahead and get in the chat right now. We're going to get into it tonight. There's always lots to talk about. We could be going live every single night. I kid you not. So much to talk about every single night. A lot of open topics. Right now, it's actually happening more on a world scale. I don't want to get ahead. That's right, Salabo 831. Appreciate you, my boy. Just settling in for the night. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's get to the formalities. Gracias to all the day oneers. Gracias to everyone in the members only. The members only is the backbone of the community. If you didn't know what the members only is about, that's what that is. The backbone, the day oneers. They get a little more access, a couple more perks. Appreciate you, G Sierra. Miss Chicano too. Be jumping in here momentarily. Yeah, I was in the Bay all day. I was in San Ramon, the city of San Ramon, all day long. Man, we're about 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Gracias to everyone that's been supporting since day one. Let's go ahead and get into it. Live Chicano Tube Wednesday night. You already know what it is. Live from Chicano headquarters. I call this Chicano headquarters. Really, I think LA is Chicano headquarters. You know? No matter what, you know what we push here. Dios, familia, cultura. Let's go ahead and get into it. Great conversation. Let's go ahead and start this one off. Dia de Muertos is coming up right now on the first week of November. Ya están todos comiendo los antojitos already. I already see it already. Ya están comiendo los tamalitos and everything else. Why not? Life's too short. Chingate otro taco. No, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm keeping it real. You know, it says like here today, gone tomorrow. This could be the night. Either a couple things happen. Either the sky cracks and the Lord comes back. Or in the morning, we just didn't wake up and we didn't live life. So here on this channel right here, we promote that. Make sure you live it and live it all the way to the fullest and share as many memories as you can. You know? Actually, today's Mom's birthday. And instead of, because I could have easily went to play some music. And I said, well, if I play some music on Mom's birthday, I already know probably I'm going to have to wear glasses. And full tint shades. And then the whole time, I'm probably not even going to be talking, engaging with the people. And that's already been done before because this is her second birthday of passing. And she would have been 84 today. And I said, no, you know what? I'm going to talk with the people because there's always a lot to talk about and engage with the people. And it's something, of course, moms will be proud of. But happy birthday, heavenly birthday to moms. I came back from the Bay Area. I was in San Ramon all day. I just spun by the 7-Eleven over there by the Garden of Memories, which on Abbott Street. And I just picked up a quick 40. A Budweiser. And I said, now I'm going to talk to moms, you know, for a little bit. And I got to keep it real with you. About 2 or 3 stones down, there was a family there. And this is what made me think about when I saw that show, the series, actually, hit series. In my opinion, should have been nominated for an Emmy, Yellowstone. And I got the idea from those cabrones that what to me is ideal because I'm a country boy. I'm a country boy by heart. Ahí estoy ordeñando las vacas. I'm over here herding up toros. I'm fixing the rancho. I'm a country boy by heart by all the years that I grew up in the rancho as a little chavalito, right? And I said, we got to get a private property on our own ranches and our own ranchos. Because, again, no disrespect, 2, 3 headstones down, they were laughing. I'm still having my moment. I'm like, I came for my moment. That's it, right? But I said, you know what? I said, I'm picking moms up. I said, I'm taking her to the ranch. And I'm gonna do just like Yellowstone in the back of the fondo of where the trees are, where it goes into the mountains. Do the burial right there and have all the headstone. If in the family, anyone else in the family doesn't want to go to public places because of what I'm experiencing. Every time I want to go have a one-on-one moment, there's always everyone, 8 to 10 feet away from me. So it is what it is. They have the right to do what they do, just like I do. Just like I do. So and I ended up getting a little bit of a sunburn también. A little bit of a sun that wasn't really too good. I mean, the sun was hot. I got a little bit of a sunburn, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." Off the coming off the cover up sessions, and some people were messaging me. It must be too old school, right? You say, "Oh, the cover up sessions. What is the cover up sessions? They don't look like cover ups." I know you could probably just see the ink on the outside and be like, "Oh yeah, that's clean" or whatever. But it just dates me. I think it dates me. And that's what's happening. Well, that's right. Door TV, G Sierra, I appreciate you. Tekken 915. Orale, I appreciate you, my boy. Solid Boy 831's in the building. Wolfman 82. Before we get into it, let's give a little roll call. Daytime Zombie. Está jugando los pinches juegos, just eyes clamped open, huh? Like a zombie. The eyes are just fucking clamped open, like wood shop, one of those clamps. And you're just playing those games. That's right, my boy. You do you. Handle that. I was at Target the other day with my son, and he wanted to go down the Nintendo aisle. And the same game he was playing, Mario Kart, on the Switch. Mario Kart on the Switch. And I'm like, boy, you got this game. That's one of the games that you got. And he's like, oh, is it? That's one of the games that you got. He doesn't even remember. That's right. I appreciate you, amiga. One of the Chicano Tube ladies is in here. Hey, Mikey. Gracias, amiga, for tapping in. We're just getting started right now. I just got through all the formalities, all the day oneers, all the members only. So gracias to everyone. Now let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing, so you guys already know, as far as topics goes, I don't really try to pre-plan anything. I want to speak straight from my heart and give it to you just like it is. Right now, the news is not too much on the local level. Right now, the news is really on the national level, which is, it's a good eye opener because we can just live in our little boxes in our little lives and just get our checks every 2 weeks, plan our vacations. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that. Make memories with the family, whatever. That's the local. Right now, the news is really, really on the national level. We'll get to that right now. But dealing with the local, of course, that's what pertains to me, is what pertains to you, really close by inside your county. I saw something that came across my newsfeed. It was the Governor Newsom signed another bill, and it was SB 274, and it was preventing the suspension in schools. Trip out on this. Governor Newsom signed a bill saying preventing the suspension in schools of any student for the act of willful defiance. Of willful defiance. What is that? That's the talking back. That's the disrespect. That's the crossing the line that they do to the teachers. Let me just be honest with you, okay? I've stepped inside these middle schools. These middle schools aren't like the middle schools that I went to, late 80s, early 90s, okay? I went inside these middle schools, and these pinchy teachers, not just them, the office staff inside of that office, I felt for them. I really, really did. I felt for them. There was a little youngster. Okay, so this is already 3-4 years ago. I still want to say it's the same generation. It was only 3 or 4 years ago. I stepped inside a middle school, and it was the same middle school that I went to. And there was a little youngster that was just mouthing off. I mean, mouthing. I could imagine saying something like that. I was going to end up at the PD station. I would have ended up at the PD station, hands slammed like menace to society. This motherfucking hood is hot. That's what Kane said, right? But I went 3 or 4 years ago to a middle school, and this kid is just mouthing off at the secretary. No one got the secretaries back, or even a clerk. It was a clerk or a counselor, whatever you want to call them. I'm not going to put the middle school on blast. And they have to go ahead and just put up with it, swallow it. O sea, a huevo, they can't say anything. And the little youngster was saying something like this to, again, I don't know if she was I don't know what the official title is. Secretary, counselor, someone that works inside the school district, right? The little youngster was mouthing off to the secretary or worker there and saying, well, you ain't got to do all, you didn't have to do all that, did you? And mad dogging up and down and walking out like it's cool. And these are the kind of bills that get passed that don't help the situation. They don't. This is basically admitting there's too many wild youngsters nowadays. Again, wild youngsters. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying wild. See, a lot of people, when I say wild youngsters, they get it twisted. First of all, I'm not disrespecting them. I'm not disrespecting them at all, because that's who I work with most than anything nowadays is the youngsters. I work more with the youngsters nowadays than any other group. I was at one point able to go into CTF Soledad, but I already seen that when you're at a certain age, you're already set in your ways. It's hard for you to break those kind of habits. So I strictly just work with the youngsters, right? These youngsters right here, I tell them all the time. I said, it don't take King Kong balls to have 100-round drum and take out a room of 30, 40, 50 people. I said, no, because any pendejo, and they know I'm not disrespecting, any pendejo can go ahead and jalar el gatillo. Any pendejo can do that. It actually takes more of a man to be like, damn, going, just to walk into school and you see football player size youngsters and you're like, I got to run through these cats like dominoes just if I got to make it to school, if I want to make it to school. And then after school, it's still on like Donkey Kong and do the same thing. That's what takes more. But now it's a whole different game now. Now what I tell them is it actually takes more cajones to go to work every day, provide for your family, put food on the table, sacrifice yourself so your family can get ahead. That's what even takes more nowadays. So anyways, these kind of bills that are getting signed nowadays is just more sweeping it under the carpet. Sweeping it under the carpet. Now you can't suspend a kid for willful defiance. So the kid comes y te da el pinche pájaro en tu cara. And guess what? There's no detention for him. There's no suspension for him. So how does that set? What kind of tone does that set for everyone else? Someone tell me. Someone tell me in the comments, what kind of tone does that set for everyone else? Well, you already know what the tone is going to set. It's just like if you give them a slap on the hand when they're doing these little smashing grabs and they're getting away with it. And next thing you know, he's hitting the streets. You got some of these guys on video now, mocking the justice system, saying, I'll be out in 30 days. And they're talking about getting caught with firearms and weapons related kind of shit. I don't know why I'm on the youngsters. I ain't trying to be on the youngsters. They know it's nothing but love. They know it's nothing but respect. But I'm trying to get their mentality to level up. And then that way they can see more than the hood. I go down to the neighborhood all day long. I talk to the youngsters. I tell the youngsters, it blows them away. I said, I have too much respect to be coming down here and putting a video camera on you guys. Because this right here, the Alisal district, this right here, if they don't experience it, then it wasn't for them to experience. This is something that we're proud of, right? Just like I compare East Salinas to East LA, a lot of culture, everywhere murals, a lot of heritage. I tell the youngsters that, and they respect that on a whole nother level, because I say, now we're taking this message over to the next generation and we're going to help them out. Cabrones. I'm not saying there wasn't a baton that was ever passed. There was a baton that was passed. I get it. Of course, I grabbed the baton. Others did grab the baton too and scorched the shit until, earth scorched hot temperatures all through the 90s, that I thought the early 2000s were kind of a rollover to the 90s. But now it has to stop. Now because there's a lady washing cooking breakfast for her family, and was in her kitchen and caught a stray bullet, boom, that went right through and hit her right in the throat, and then hit two other youngsters inside the parking lot. And she's paralyzed and she has a GoFundMe. There's innocent people getting hit. You're proud of that? How could you be proud of that to the youngsters? There's no way you're proud of that. At the end of the day, you're washed up anyways, right when you get in the system, and all you could do is call Tony from stories written by a current prisoner. So at least you could tell your story and get a check out of it, because everyone else done fucked you off. Everyone else done cut you off. There was a story not too long ago. It was like a 6 or 8-year-old young kid, and the bullet went through the backyard, killed the kid. What a damn shame, man. What a fucking damn shame. They can't even suspend them now for willful defiance. So they're gonna go to school and flip them off. Disrespect highly all the teachers and all the counselors. Highly disrespect, and then think that's the normal and go and joke about it with their friends. Maybe we shouldn't have closed the YAs. Maybe to me, that's like the ones I used to steal, like CDs, like the ones, maybe we should have sent them to the sharks and got a reality, because whatever they were doing wasn't working. They acting wild, throwing chairs over fast food places. I mean, acting just no self-control. No self-control. That's right. That's right. Farmero's in the casa. That's one of my day oneers. Farmero Fruit Stand B23 500 says, Orale Fish Layer. That's right, my boy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. Hit the like, gente. That's right. Fish Layers in the casa. A lot of people are getting we're getting an opinion on something that California is now instituting. Again, I guess it's the California new normal. The California new normal, where we just had like a phone emergency alert the other day that they said, again, a lot of people don't believe, but they said, I actually don't believe the government a lot for shit. Once I found out the when they're talking about like the Oklahoma bombing and everything, they were saying that only one truck of explosives was strong enough to level a whole floor from corner to corner, and all these things that just don't make sense. And no one wants to hear from an explosive specialist. Same thing with 9/11. I just don't I don't trust anything. I don't trust it. I want to question it, not to the point where it's ridiculous, because matter makes sense to me, and I believe science makes sense to me, but some crazy shit doesn't when it comes to that. So anyways, something that we're putting out today in California, it was called, they're going to go ahead and not do Amber Alerts, but do their own specific kind of alerts targeting African Americans, the black population. And they were called Ebony Alerts. And a lot of people, again, I thought, this is how I understood it, right? Because I have my license when it comes to real estate, and I have to take continuing education, that we had to treat everyone equally. I thought we, by ethical duties, fiduciary duties, all these duties, have to protect the public and treat everyone equally. So then why am I doing something for one and not the other? I'm going to let that sink in for a little bit, because this is California is one of those states. They push this a lot. Do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see it? Or don't you? A lot of people, I'm not going to spend too much time on there. And then shout out to everyone that says, hey, that's a good thing, that's a bad thing. I just want to bring the conversation to the table and say, well, wait a second. If they did that in Vietnamese, why can't they do it in Spanish? If they did that in this, why can't they do it in that? I'm just saying equally across the board. Or shouldn't it be that way? Or shouldn't it be that way? You can give me a call, 831-205-1735. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and put it up here. And maybe you want to talk about it. We're coming up on 7:30. We haven't even scratched the surface. We're still going to get to world news. Wait till we get to that world news because I'm gonna break this down like no one else has broke it down. I think this is a topic that I definitely know about, studied about for years and years and years. I'm just glad that it's to the point where the raza just appreciates a good conversation when it comes to certain things like this, like that's making world news, like Israel and Palestine. That's the latest news right now. Israel and Palestine at war.
Call from
Joe.
Joe, you're live Wednesday night. Talk to me. What you got to say, my boy?
Hey, man, this is an old fruit stander from the 60s calling you, man. How's everything?
Hey, everything is very firme. I appreciate you, Joe. Gracias for tuning in to the show. Some of my earlier videos, when I used to call the channel the police report, the Salinas report, the Salinas report had a lot of videos around Cluster Park and around the fruit stand.
You know, I caught your show. I've been watching you off and on. I'm sorry to say that, I wanted to meet with you. I got a lot of history that I went through. As a matter of fact, I started off in the fruit stand and ran with some of the original members of the NF. I went into law enforcement of all things, so I saw a lot of things with the first generation of autos that were doing their thing, and now I'm even though it's been a wild trip. I'm running for city council in San Jose, so I went from the fruit stand to now running for a city council seat in one of the biggest cities in the state. So, I'm proud of what I did, but I also hear your message. You put out a real good message, man. I like what you're doing. Um, and you're right. You're right about a lot of things. There are some truths, a lot of lying going on, but in reality, it's what works best for us. We've got, in next year, I'm going to be doing a scholarship event for a nonprofit I run, and we're going to give out 50,000 in scholarship money. So I'll be reaching down there into Monterey County. I'm going to meet with the sheriff, uh, uh, Sheriff Nieto next at the end of the month. But I got some plans for I'm hitting 72, and I've been doing a lot of shit for a long time, but it's not my final finality, but it goes to show what you can still do, all things considered, age, background, et cetera, et cetera. And even you, I've seen what you've done, Esse. I was a generation or two before you. You were hanging out on a different part of Market Street, but nonetheless, I don't want to take up your whole night. I'd like to hook up with you one of these days and run down some shit. Because there's a lot of things you know and a lot of things you don't know. And I got a lot of homies. I don't talk about specifically when it comes to like the North Familia names of the guys I ran around with, out of respect to them and their families, because these are guys I grew up with. And eventually they went one way and I went the other way. Like I said, I did 35 years in law enforcement with the sheriff's department. But I've also been involved with a whole lot of other things when it came to making things equal for Latinos. So, short of saying that, man, I'll call you back and try and leave my number or somehow hook up with you. I don't have a what do you call it, a link or a name to get on your chat box there, but my regards to all the raza out there. I want them to know that like I said, I'm hitting 72, and just like you, I've seen a lot, done a lot. um and there's no doubt in my mind that you put your mind to it, you don't know where you're going to wind up. And there's a lot out there that we should be taking advantage of, and we're not. But it's there. Maybe our kids will do it. Cabrones are doing a lot of shit, but we got a lot of youngsters that are becoming doctors, lawyers, scholars. I came out of the projects. I was just talking to a Vato that as a little kid, there was a park there next to the church called Snyder Park,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you're talking way, way back, and this guy's he's a doctor, and he's got his doctorates, but the people that came out of that area, in spite of the economic disadvantages, still didn't let them stop it. Not even we didn't even let law enforcement. I didn't let them stop me, and I had them on my ass all the time. So, and I turned out to be a deputy sheriff for 35 years. So, my regards to you for what you're doing. I hear your show every now and then. I should hit the like button and all that. But I'm old school also, man. You know, I'm an old school vato, and I see what you know. You're well advanced with the stuff you're doing. You got me beat. So, but I would like to hook up with you. So, and end the story, Kanan.
Hey, I appreciate you, Joe. Gracias for tapping in. The conversation just began now. I believe we're going to be tapping in with each other more in the future, but I highly appreciate you for calling in to Chicano too, carnal.
What else?
Cuídate
Hey,
mucho.
and if you want, look up my website, man. Lopez for San Jose.com.
Lopez for San Jose.com. You heard it now. Lopez for
Yeah,
San Jose.com.
that's it, man. A kid from the barrio, a kid from the fruit stand. I'm coming out to haunt 'em.
Te cuidas mucho.
Bueno, buenas noches.
Buenas noches. That's right. You heard it from. That's an original, day one. He feels it. He's like, yeah. You were one of the youngsters. Ahí corriendo up and down. I told you where I grew up was, well, the East Market liquor store was on the corner of Hebron and East Market. And then there was Meyer Alley. That was in the back. So 81. Ahí estaba 81 all through the 80s, early 90s, right there. And pues, that was it. That was the Alisal district. There was more, people would consider more East Salinas the heart of the Alisal, which is obviously where the high school is down there, because they did end up busing. They bust a lot of us that were barely over the fruit stand. Barely over the fruit stand. They bust a lot of us to the west side. Let's just keep it real. They bust us over to the west side to go to school. And we kind of liked it. We were like, okay, you know, it was still, it was what it was on the calles. Nothing had changed just because you're going west. That just reminds me, shout out to my brother from another mother, Eddie Boy. He sent over, or at least I think he posted on one of his stories. Shout out to rest in peace to Billy Boy. Billy Boy from the west side. Rest in peace, man. A lot of times we hung out, a lot of things. And a lot of this and a lot of that, man. Rest in peace over to him, to the family, the whole family. Danny Boy 408, that's right. I appreciate you. Randy Jean is in the casa. She's nothing but a vibe over here. Randy Jean says, hey. I could already hear Randy Jean in her voice. Hey. It's Wednesday night. Today's actually Mom's birthday. I was opting not to play music. I said, if I just play music, I'm going to be over there with black glasses on, just tears coming down. And of course, I would have picked the saddest of music, right? I probably would have made a whole Chente mix or something like that. But I was in the Bay Area working all day. And then I swung by. I just went by the 7-Eleven. I got a 40. Got to keep it real with you. I got a 40. I didn't get a Deuce 4 32. I got a 40 of a Budweiser, and I was just drinking right there with Moms. But then again, about 3 or 4 headstones down, there was always people. It's the public cemetery. Okay, I'm not knocking it, but it's the public cemetery. Let's keep it real. So people are just visiting every 10 or 15 feet. There's another family. You know what I mean? And that's what made me think about, you know what? We got to do it just like Yellowstone, like Yellowstone, the series. I'm serious. Private property, and bury the family right there. That way, every time you want to have an intimate, quiet moment with your loved one, it's undisturbed. The moment's undisturbed. So that's what I thought about. And I said, you know what? If they gave me any shit when I want to do this too, I'm just coming on the weekends and I'm just gonna get a couple guys and some bulldozers or whatever. Well, I don't know what kind of tools they got to do to get Mom's box and her headstone out of there, but that's what we're gonna do. 739.
Call from
Jenny Selby.
to accept.
Jenny Selby, you're live on Wednesday night. Who you want to give a shout out to, or maybe you want to comment on something that I talked about?
Yeah, we can talk about, you want to talk about the war?
You know what? This is what I want to say about the war, okay? This is the official statement from the president of Israel. He said, not since the Holocaust has there been this many deaths in one day. And this is Israel's stance, which is a lot of people's stance, not just Israel's stance. It's a lot of people's stance is that they will not negotiate with any terrorist. And I know the craziest thing that happened today was, of course, it was confirmed President Biden, but other people have already confirmed that there was a group of children that were decapitated at the heads. Of course, this has to be just some of the sickest shit that you've heard on there, but it's called war. I myself, Jenny, am familiar with not just 100 years of the history of the conflict. I believe the Bible. So if I believe the Bible, I believe to thousands and thousands of years. I actually believe that Palestine, by my calculations, was only about 100 years or less, has had control of that territory. So Palestine has had, in case the question pops up, the people always want to ask, well, whose is the Holy Land? By my calculations, go ahead.
Okay, Mikey, okay, but you have to remember that conflict has been going on for years and years. Nobody's saying, they can't agree to disagree. They don't know anything about conflict resolution. America is one of the greatest countries, but it has no business sticking their business in other places where people die during war. I'm a combat vet, but today I'm a veteran of peace. War accomplishes nothing. It's senseless.
I get you.
Senseless.
I get you. I used to watch drive-by protesters all the time, and they would hold up signs that say, "How many barrels of oil per life?" They would put up signs like that, and it would make you think, huh? It would make you think like, okay, again, this is not here, but it's far away from U.S. because there's a lot of people, Jenny, that say we should just be focused on U.S. relations and on U.S. soil and to strengthen our military. But a lot of people see the United States as like the babysitter of other countries. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we have no business. America's the great aggressor. Having been through a conflict, you know what? I had enough war to last me a lifetime, okay? I'm into figuring out solutions because we have a lot of problems in this country that need addressing. Addiction, men and women arguing with each other. You know what? It's ridiculous. Things that, we thought were fixed a long time ago, but it hasn't. You got to remember, we need to go back to traditional values, respecting the men and women, respecting our elders, respecting the kids. And if kids get out of line, bust them in their ass because some of them think they know what they're doing and they don't. They ain't got a clue.
So,
and I don't believe in violence.
You definitely heard. Oh yeah, but you might be one of those hardliners, just like I am. Like my mom used to tell me about being in school and getting hit on the wrist with rulers. Bap. When they used to.
I used to get hit with the crazy nuns would hit us with a ruler.
When you were talking out of turn, again, it's the whole thing is discipline, but I know what you're talking about now because this is what you do when there's too many people getting arrested and it's counterproductive. You want to lessen the laws that's going to lock these people up, and all they're going to do is commit more crimes because they know the laws have been lessened. How is that going to solve a population problem? Because it sounds cool to say don't build prisons anymore, but where are you going to house everyone that's pulling up? There's buses of criminals every single week, and it sounds cool to say no prisons and build more schools, but that just doesn't make sense if you just know basic 101 on how it works.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people want to go through life blaming their parents. Okay, I had such a bad childhood. Guess what? A lot of people did. You know what? We need mental health programs in this country. We need to do something about housing. It's not just going to go away, but if we don't address those issues, we just keep going in circles. Nothing gets done. Politics as usual,
Politics as usual.
Our kids are suffering.
I think of Israel and Palestine. I just think, wow, right now it had to crack on Yom Kippur, the Jewish holiday. It had to crack for them. And there has been several decades that Palestine has not done something so brazen And I'm gonna put all the facts out there because someone could just be like, "Oh, is he Israel? Is he?" I'm gonna put all the facts out there, but again, I gotta come from a faith point of view because I do see this through a certain lens. That's why I believe Floyd Mayweather, one of the richest, wealthiest athletes, or maybe the richest and the wealthiest athletes, loaded up
You mean the boxer?
the
The
boxer,
boxer?
the boxer. He loaded up his private personal jet full of supplies to Israel and he flew them straight out there and didn't hesitate to put "I support Israel." But here we go now on social media, on the internet. People are supposed to pick sides now. They're supposed to pick, I pick Israel, I pick Palestine. And here we go with exactly how they want to have us. So if we're already feeding off of everything they're giving us, no matter what they'll give us, we'll feed off of it. I say, no. But I do believe
No, but you have to know where you're getting your information from. There's always two sides to a story. You know what? I feel for the people of Israel. I feel for the Palestinians. But you know what? Like I keep saying, we have to have more problems in this country. We got to take care of this country first before we go and stick our nose in other countries. They've been having that war for thousands of years, and it's not going to change because neither side wants to come to the peace talks and talk. They figure they're losing. You can't do that with a war. You have to be willing to meet in the middle.
I see you, Jenny. I appreciate the phone call. It's a definitely interesting conversation. You know, you're a day oneer, and so you're always free to call in. I'm going to continue the conversation, but I appreciate your call, hermana.
Okay, cuídate. Bye-bye.
Te cuidas mucho. Bye-bye. That's Jenny Selby. You might see Jenny Selby and you just see the YouTube handle. Oh, Jenny Selby. Es chicana. Es chicana. You didn't know? Yeah, es chicana. But anyways, oh man. So yeah, it goes way past more. It goes way past the conflict. Goes way past more the last 7,500 years because that's what a lot of people are just talking about. The 7,500 years. I'm gonna break this down like a 8-gauge shotgun for the people, just so you understand, and give it up to the people and see what you guys say. Because I'm gonna come from two different points of views. One is a secular point of view, and the other one is a biblical point of view. And I leave it up to the people's court to decide what it is. You know, here, Dios, familia, cultura. There's no way we're going to be like one of these pendejos that says, get God out of everything. Take them off the schools, take them off the dollar, take them out of, no. Chale tamales. So forget about that because Chicanos just don't do that. We don't ride. There is no Chicano sin Dios. Because remember, the Chicanos, his lineage, his parents, grandparents, ni modo que vas a hacer algo raro and you're going to have them rolling over in their graves as they see you practicing some weird shit. Let's just keep it real. Some weird shit. This goes back thousands and thousands of years because the land of Palestine or the land of Israel or however. Now, okay, let's be technically correct. Modern day state of Israel that has its borders. Okay. And the West Bank and the Gaza Strip inside that modern state of Israel, que es un pedazón así, like a California but bigger, has a West Bank and has a Gaza in the middle. That was the land of Canaan. Oh, shit. You done opened it up now. You done opened it up now. Denise Castillo said, this is a holy war. This is what I'm talking about right now. You're right on time for that. This is a holy war. Let me tell you what I know. The land of Canaan, which both religions, Muslim and Christian, consider Abraham to be their forefather. Am I right or am I wrong? You can give me a call at any time, 831-205-1735. Both of these religions consider Abraham to be the forefather. And God told Abraham, get up from among your brothers. I'm going to send you out to a land you know not of. The land of Canaan. That's what it was. It was the land of Canaan. And as soon as he got there, boom, we all know the story. Israelites, Moses couldn't cross over. He couldn't cross over, got to the edge, and that's where the border of the Jordan River is. It's right there, the border of the river. So everything to the west of that, boom, that was the promised land. That was Jerusalem. That's where they built the first temple, right there. The first temple. And we already know through disobedience, several disobedient acts, time and time again, no matter what king was reigning in Judah and Israel. Before that, it was the land of Canaan to the Canaanites. Okay. All of these. Okay. So let's just fast forward because I could be here for hours and hours giving you each century breakdown. Let's fast forward this thing. Okay. Let's get to like the year of the 1500s, the Ottoman Empire. And then after the Ottoman Empire, that whole region there is 100% controlled by Great Britain. 100% controlled from Great Britain. And after they saw so much conflict between Arabs and Jews, because remember, the Jews were scattered. They left through each and every single king that invaded Jerusalem. Every single war and conflict, more and more Jews kept leaving. They kept leaving. It was called the diaspora, the dispersion of them. They're all over Europe now because they had suffered so many horrendous things, one of them being the Holocaust, one of them being 6 million systematically executed. One of them. They decided, said, you know what, it's called the Zionist movement. We're coming back to Israel, and we're doing this to establish a state. We have so much history there. The first temple, come on now. Abraham, the promise of Abraham, come on now. King David, Solomon, the golden years, aside all the other years. Here's where a lot of people just get mad about. They just get mad about. They get mad when you say this phrase. It's called God's chosen people. God's chosen people pisses off a lot of people. That pisses, and I get it. Who am I? You know what I mean? I know what I am. Soy Chicano. You know what I mean? When I had Wayward Son on the channel, he was like, you either came over on the boat, your ancestors came over on the boat, or your ancestors met them on the shore. And I told him, well, I think with me, it was both. I'm not confused. You know what I mean? I know who I am. I'm Chicano. But again, with Christian roots, unless all of a sudden you're one of them, these theologians or these people that just deep, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, they know the word inside and out. And all of a sudden, you're like, you have the opinion, well, you know what? God left Israel and he turned it into a Gentile thing with Jesus. No, that's not it. Let me tell you this. Why would God leave the apple of his eye? He wouldn't. He would bring a remnant over. He would never do the whole thing out. He would bring a remnant over. Just like on Noah's Ark. He saw the world. Everyone andaba haciendo maldad. Todo lo que le daba la pinche gana. And God said through Noah, I'm going to go ahead and keep a remnant. God has always kept the remnant. And then it says specifically in his word right there. I don't know. I'm getting deep on it tonight, huh? I'm going to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, and hit all that. Gracias. Brenda Love is in the casa, one of the original Chicano Tube ladies. I appreciate you, amiga. I guess we're talking about Israel right now. I don't really know. You know what I mean? Today's mom's birthday, amiga. I went over there. I grabbed the 40 of Budweiser. I was drinking a 40. I was kind of shedding some tears. I kind of had to keep it down a little bit because there was people all over the place. It's a public cemetery. And that's what made me think about, what? I'm getting moms. I'm going to take her. I'm going to take her to the Rancho and put her over there by the oak trees. And then I'm going to have, that way I could talk to her one-on-one. And that little $15,000-$20,000 lote, public, whatever, hole, I guess you want to be technically a hole in the ground. I don't know what I'll do with that. But I think I learned a lesson. I want to have more private moments. But today's mom's birthday. I went to go see her again. I was in the Bay Area all day. I was in San Ramon. So it was like 4 hours of driving, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. But happy birthday to moms. She would have been 84 today. And if you follow me on IG, you can go ahead and see what I posted today at moms. Si te vale. Not everyone vale. So we're talking about Israel and Palestine. So yes, like Mia Khalifa, okay? Mia Khalifa, we know who she is. And she got unsponsored by a lot of people because she's showing her support to Palestine in the conflict. I get it. Especially if you have roots with familia. Come on, Wes. You don't get it? Am I saying she's right? I'm not saying she's right. I'm saying I get it. Imagine you had root in your culture, your family, just like she does, and immediately a conflict like this springs forth. But she's calling Hamas freedom fighters. I just want to put this out there. Do you see how easy we could just be on the internet, and the internet, that's why I don't believe shit that's on the internet. Shit. I know I shouldn't say that. I believe zero of what I see on the internet. It's not real life. I know where I got to look up information if I'm looking to cross-reference information and see if something is bona fide legit. I know where I can go ahead and get that, but I don't believe shit the internet says. So she's getting canceled. Not that she already has the money's in the bank. Okay. She's already got 7 to 8 digit, bank account and probably investments if she did good with her money or spent it wisely. But she said they're freedom fighters coming out of Palestine. I mean, I don't know if she knew this or not. I want to assume that she knew this, but Hamas, this is the group which a lot of people have labeled, like the United States and other countries, Israel as well, a terrorist group. You can make your own decisions. It's up to you, cabrones. Don't get your panties in a bunch. This is in their official statement, the covenant, Hamas, the statement of the organization. This is going to blow you away. That's why I told you I was going to give you the breakdown. I said, right now, the news is more international than it is national. We fall asleep on the local level. We're here, we're going on vacations. Hey, it's the fall. We're getting the last of the Indian summer. God is good. We're going to Vegas and eating here and eating there. Right now, the news is not local. We can get complacent in that, but we need to understand, especially when it deals with Jerusalem. Gente, if it's dealing with Jerusalem, it's one of the centerpiece, if not the centerpiece, of God's plan. I know some people are like, oh, God's plan. I know. You can believe, other things. There's 10 dimensions and 20 dimensions. And I was watching a video the other day and they were talking about the lost city of Atlantis. That was a real interesting conversation. Should we talk about that? Let's talk about what they're calling would be the scientific location if the earth existed millions and millions and millions and millions of years, which for some reason, I can't even comprehend how they would be able. What's the difference between 100,000, a million years, and now these scientists that can narrow a specific event down to 90 million years? Oh, man. They're talking about the lost city of Atlantis. If it had any geographic location in the entire earth, in the entire world, the lost city of Atlantis would have been right over the Sahara Desert because it was found to be the only land with unexplainable levels of salt over the tops of it, where they would call it the Salt Sea. And you're talking about something that's 30 something miles wide. And a lot of people who talk about the city of Atlantis, the underwater. See, I'm a believer. And I believe most of you guys are probably, or maybe not, but you just respect my opinion. I'm going to keep it like it is. We ain't got to be so to the point the sky's going to crack and this and that and this and that to where we don't know the fullness of the scope of everything that's going on around us, or the fullness of the scope of everything that happened before our time. I can't rule out that there was never an underwater city. The city of Atlantis, if you research it, it says it was 10 kingdoms under one empire in a place that spanned 30 mile by 30 miles, huge land, barren, underwater. So this is where these archaeologists are. It trips me out. How do they know what's a million years old and what's 90 million? I just don't see the difference. They can speak carbon fiber and all these other things, but I don't know. You got to look into it. But that was an interesting topic, and I don't rule that out. Just like you heard me talk on this channel, you've heard me mention aliens. Why? Because aliens have been coming in the news lately. Aliens have been coming in the news lately. Mexico, I don't know. It wasn't an official cabinet of Mexico government presentation. It was just a presentation in Mexico. They brought it up, little green men. And then all of a sudden you have retired, high-ranking U.S. retired armed forces officials that said for decades, the government has had UFOs, flying saucers, and said has also, but they didn't say little green men, but people paraphrase it when they say this shit. They said, and have also collected non-human biologics from these spacecrafts. Cut it out. Cut it out. That's right. Chicago Dumb's in the casa. That's right. Good luck to everyone on Powerball, he says. Telly Savalas, órale contigo, cabrón. It's 8 o'clock, man. How did the time just go by? I went to the Bay Area today. It was more in the world news, I'm telling you right now. And since 1948, when Israel became a state, Palestine has just been, it was too much. Again, they've had the land more than Israel, technically ruled over it, at least to my calculations, because I broke down by empire. I broke it down. Let me see. Hold on. I know I got something. Here it is. This is what I got from Patrick David Bett's website. He said these were the motivating factors for the attack from the Palestinians, who believe for hundreds of years or longer that Israel is on their land. Similar if we were in the United Pinche States, gente. Similar if we were in the United States and all of a sudden there wasn't a country formed, there wasn't a law, there wasn't constitution made, there wasn't no land grabs and titles being made, because I believe, the Europeans came over and they just said, you know what, these Pinche Indians, right, these natives right here are just going to war with each other. They're fierce savages. They're taking each other's head. There's so much tribalism and war. Aprovecharon los cabrones. But that would be if all of a sudden they got outnumbered and then there was revolts coming on the native side. There hasn't been, not to my knowledge, at least in the last century or more. Maybe there's been spurts, but I'm talking about making history. I don't know. Not that I know of. The motivating factors for the attacks. One, from Palestine. One, Israel's occupation of the West Bank. That's one. Remember, the West Bank was exactly west, right over the Jordan, the promised land. Okay. That was a place that Palestine remained, at least in numbers, just like the Gaza Strip. But Israel took the whole thing. And then during the 6-Day War in 1967, they took more than that. They took actually a whole piece of Egypt and down there to Syria. They took a whole pinche piece, even more, at a 6-Day War, which a lot of people consider miraculous by God. It would be like United States being the size of California, let's say California and its neighboring states. United States being the size of California and its neighboring states, a nice chunk of land, not California, but double that in land, right? All of a sudden, getting hit by Canada, Mexico, and something on the west or the east, and them not losing. So that's why they considered, oh, it's an act of God. The 6-Day War in 67 held it off again. That's the view. This was a land given to God's people. This was a land. There's atrocities. I know there's atrocities. There's murders. I know there's murder. There's savageries. I know there's. It's fucking war. I know. I 100% understand carnages and things like that. I'm just giving all the people as much information as I can give the people. I'm going to leave it up to the people's court to see what you think, what perspective you see. You could not even be coming from a faith perspective. You could be coming from a secular perspective. It's about that, Mikey. It's this. It's the New World Order. It's this. Or I don't know. It could be anything. I'm just giving it to you as the history of the Holy Land and how many times it's switched hands throughout the years. And to now, where if this continues, you're going to see more gory, more horrific stuff. More horrific than decapitations. It's sad to say, more horrific. They're using TVs, laptops, TVs, internet, phones, propaganda machines. 100% propaganda. So where you'll get the climate from the phone. You'll think you'll do. Oh, this is who's winning the war. It's on the phone. Oh, this is who has the upper. This is what I know. The reason for attacks. Recent Israeli police raids on Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. That means the Israelis usurping authority on certain things that they don't want to happen inside their territory. I get it. They got a state. They can do it. They got a state. Is it right or wrong? I'll leave that up to you. Detention of thousands of Palestinians in Israeli jails. También. If you control, they built a wall around the West Bank. This is a security wall, which I understand. They're understanding that the West Bank and Gaza Strip is hot. Here's how hot it is in the Gaza Strip. I mean hot, I mean crazy. This is what I mean by hot, crazy. In the Gaza Strip, no one wants to do business now with Gaza. They find it too much of a risk to do business with them. It's mainly occupied by Palestinians. 50% of the Gaza Strip is unemployed. They're cutting off supply lines of food and of water to the Gaza Strip and whoever else. It's fucked up, but that's complete, utter war. World War III, you can call it whatever you want. Another reason for the attack, the contentious status of Aqsa Mosque compound. That means they were always, they understand that all of these are the Holy Land and all of these are the holy sites. It's either been Israeli controlled or it's either been Muslim controlled. Okay, the Christians, we just got, we're just over here and we know, this is also Holy Land for us, but we got to keep it real. Israeli control or Muslim controlled. has been the main owners of the pinchy land. When these rockets flew the other day, these pinchy rockets got intercepted by Israel about 20, no, not less than 20 years ago, built this crazy fortified mission defense missile defense system. They called it the pinche. I forgot what they call it. They called it the bow or something like this. Where automatically they said, you know what, we got to build this missile defense system because this is the number one way they're gonna try to infiltrate us is through missiles on the outside. This thing intercepts 90 or more percent of all the missiles. Those are the videos that you see all the time when they're launching missiles into Israel. Or like you've seen a couple of videos of the Palestinian dudes. They're like, yeah, with missiles flying behind them. And the dude's like, con huevos, wey, con huevos, or whatever he was saying. I don't know, in Palestinian. This thing intercepts most of the missiles that are going to fly into Israel, but not all of them. Israel's response was Israel's military said it destroyed centers that house Hamas militants. So Israel's response was it was tactical. It was tactical. They dropped bombs and went straight for the incursions of these strategic sites. And one of them is Israel destroyed the centers that house Hamas militants. Palestinian officials said that a hospital had been hit, along with multi-story buildings, homes, and a mosque. Israel's response. Gaza Health Ministry in Gaza said that at least 400 Palestinians had been killed, most inside Israel and the rest in the enclave. This is crazy. Esta pinche guerra is happening right now. It's happening right now. Here's Miss Chicano Tubes in the building. The nation is like a mighty lion. When it is sleeping, no one dares wake it. Whoever blesses Israel, bless. Whoever curses Israel, curse. Again, that's coming from a Christian point of view, or you could say Judeo. A lot of people say Judeo-Christian, and some people don't. To each his own. Some people don't. Some people say, you know what, it's this, it's that. Who's occupied it the longest? Well, it's switch hands so many. Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem, is the number one city on planet Earth that has had the most attacks, that has had the most incursions. It's had the most invasions from foreign rulers and foreign kings. No other city than Jerusalem has had that happen to them. In wrapping up, I guess it's past 8 o'clock. In wrapping up, I'm attacked back in with the familia. I will say God's plan will be done regardless. This is crazy. What you see on the internet is crazy, crazy shit. What we should pay attention to is all of a sudden, Iran received $6 billion from the United States government and now has had their sanctions unfreeze. And when they got their sanctions unfreeze, were able to help, I believe, a lot of reports show, these militants to do crazy shit like that. We're pumping money overseas. Yeah, we got veterans on the streets. We got housing programs. We got things that need to be funded on the United States, and we can't get a penny. Instead, they're saying another $40 billion to Ukraine. Send them another $20 billion to Ukraine. I say we need to watch our backs. I say there's guerras happening, and they're happening closer to home than what me and you think. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Jenny Selby, that's right. Joe from Wyoming, that's right. Telly's in the casa. Chicago Dumb, Gnarly Vato, man. I'm going to wrap this one up, you guys. I'm going to tap back in with the familia. It's Thursday. The week is flying by. We'll be back on Friday night, and then we got the Dia de Muertos live coming up. Wait till you see this thing is going to look like Little Mexico over here. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share. We mostly talked about international things, right? We didn't really talk about anything else, or we didn't even get into no cheeseman, huh? I mean, the latest cheeseman was that crimes, right? Mr. Criminal, you know, he had responded over to AC and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know what? I got nothing personal against AC. I actually believe a lot that he says, and especially when, like I know when he was talking about other pendejos that were reading fake paperwork. Oh yeah, them motherfuckers, they're automatically cut off. But I mean, that kind of topic was the one that Tony A talked about. He kind of brought it up only to continue and have a conversation on should people be interviewing people from this genre, that genre. I didn't say, I'm not even going to respond to it. We didn't get into no cheeseman really on this one, but you know what we did do is get into the important shit. So I'm going to cut on out. I'll see you guys on Friday night. Be on the lookout. If you want to follow me on IG, there's the IG right there at the bottom. If you have Instagram, it's right there at the bottom. Or if you have TikTok, it's right there at the bottom. I appreciate you guys more than you know. It's out. I'm out. It's Friday night, you guys. But remember what I always say. In the end, all you got is the memories.